There's one handout called The Three Whys, which I wrote way back, which we usually use in our facilitation training, which is the sort of the levels of why one facilitates a circle. And the deepest level is one's own real conviction and commitment to it. And to me, the living of the practices, which one is no longer an expert or a teacher, creates a peace facilitators are also participants and are also learners. This is where I think for me it's a distinguishing between the circle experience and a workshop. So although sometimes I say to people, yes, a circle is like a workshop, but to me it's not a workshop in that the facilitator is not really meant to be a teacher. Of course we find ourselves in a bit of a teaching role sometimes, and we can reinforce that by standing and writing on a whiteboard or blackboard or whatever, and that sort of teachery mode, which I would prefer to try and avoid in a peace circle. So I always encourage facilitators to sit down and just sit as in the circle. The importance of a facilitator being a facilitator, and also being a practitioner, as far as any of us are able, because none of us can do that perfectly, of course. But things like practice of deep reflection, inner listening, quiet time, that sort of space, the practice of resolving conflicts with people, of trust building, of listening well to others, practicing the qualities that we identify. So all these sort of little challenges, it's not just facilitating peace circle is not just a task easily done because we have the right words. To a certain extent, we hope we want to match it to a certain extent in our own living. So that's one point I like to make to people trained to be facilitators. There's no demand, we're not getting people to pass exams or live under scrutiny, but just that awareness. And then the importance of the conversations. I've noticed from time to time that sometimes facilitators can so much enjoy doing exercises, and people will come up with all sorts of new little exercises or new ways to approach subjects, and I do this too, and there's drawing and there's modeling and there's acting out, and a lot of these things are useful and certainly can play a part, but they should not dominate the importance of the conversations that you have, and allowing the conversations to have enough time, and hopefully drawing everybody out in the circle at some point. The importance of every woman, every participant, let's say, being able to use their voice. But the sharing that happens in the conversations, and not just to escape into the ease or the fun of a little exercise to pass the time. So that's to put that priority, that preciousness into the conversation that can happen. And then yes, the deeper meaning of the material. So going through each gathering point, what is it really saying? What is it really about? What is the intention of the gathering point? And although it's sort of written there in the manual, just to be sure that the facilitator themselves understand and have their own intention before they plunge into it, so they have a sense of process, and a sense of possibly guiding the conversation when it goes off track, because they know the deeper point they hope to reach. You can't force it, it needs to come from the conversation. But I think awareness of what the gathering point could be pointing to, could be showing, could reveal for people, that sort of, to go into it with that sense of understanding and seriousness.